Now on Sunrise and streaming on 25 News Now, Citizens Medical Center is asking the county for help as they continue to navigate through a deficit. And several shootings across the country on Monday, the latest as attacks leave multiple people dead. Plus, new details about a veteran who helped stop the man accused in a Walmart stabbing.
And this morning we are tracking some patchy dense fog around parts of the crossroads. We'll likely have that again tomorrow morning before that burns off, and we're looking a little bit hot before rain is here this weekend. We'll have all that in the weather coming up.
And the Yorktown Wildcats look to compete hard in a tough district. We'll preview this team later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Tuesday morning.
Happy Tuesday, that is right. Happy Tuesday indeed. This morning, I'm actually going to go ahead and take it away this morning, Carolina, because we have a little bit of fog that is forming around the crossroads.
Yeah, be careful with that fog out there, and do not use your high beam lights. It is so dangerous and not considerate.
It actually makes it a little bit more difficult to see, and here's that fog. Like I was just saying, you can see how dense it is forming on our Victoria camera this morning. This is looking southeastward towards the Victoria Emerging Technology Complex down over by the 463 loop and also by Highway 59. But right now we're looking at visibility, at least judging off of this view, we're looking at about probably an eighth mile, maybe a little bit less than 600 feet. So make sure to be extra safe if you're hitting the roads this morning. 71 is what we're starting at for the air temperature, but the dew point is matching that. And that's exactly what's bringing us fog, not just here in Victoria, but all around parts of the crossroads this morning. So please stay safe, y'all. And actually, to show y'all a little bit more, you can actually see we have a special weather statement issued right here for that fog. That's that brown tan color. Looking at the radar, I'm showing you this because it's not raining out there. Some of y'all probably saw your radar and you thought it was raining. It's not. What's happening is the radar beam is being bent and refracted towards the ground because of high pressure nearby and also sinking cooler air, which is meeting the dew point. So please stay safe if you're hitting the roads. Also stay safe in the heat today. It's going to be a bit of a hot one. We'll have all those details coming up next.
A family of four is displaced after their home caught fire. It happened around 4:30 Saturday morning in the 400 block of Maplewood Drive. Officials say the fire caused significant damage to the home, but no one was hurt. The fire started from an electrical issue. Citizens Medical Center is asking the county to issue debt to help finish its new ICU unit. The hospital is county-owned but runs under its own budget and board. It also doesn't use taxpayer dollars for operations. While the county issues the debt, CMC makes the payments to the county. At the end of 2023, $17.6 million in county debt was tied to hospital projects like the ER and ICU expansions. Last year, CMC paid over $1.2 million toward that debt, with the commissioners approving a memorandum of understanding with the hospital at Monday's meeting. There's now a 45-day period before it can be finalized.
This is kind of a housekeeping chore. The numbers in terms of what's included in the resolutions are not to exceed numbers. Right. The Commissioners Court is in no way committing itself to do these transactions at this point. It's simply a housekeeping chore to get the process started. When you come back on the 28th, if the court decides to issue the COs on the 28th, that's when the final size of those deals will be determined.
Final budget and tax rate decisions are set for September 29th. The new ICU and infusion center was set to open in September. No word yet on whether it's on schedule. At least one police officer and four other people were killed following a shooting at a New York City high-rise building Monday night. Law enforcement officials say the shooting was carried out by a lone gunman. Four senior law enforcement officials say the suspected shooter, 27-year-old Shane Devin Tamura, is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The Midtown Manhattan location of the shooting is the headquarters of the investment firm Blackstone. It also houses the headquarters of the NFL, a Bank of America branch as well. Another shooting took place on the other side of the country Monday, where 3 people were killed and 3 more wounded in the parking lot of the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno, Nevada. Officers were able to locate a suspect and take that person into custody. All the shooting occurred outside the building, mainly in the valet area and in the parking lot. The suspect, described as a man, was taken to the hospital after being placed into custody, where he remains in critical condition. We're learning more about how an armed veteran confronted the man accused of stabbing nearly a dozen people at a Michigan Walmart, jumping into action saying it was his duty. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has the story.
Throw the knife that way! Throw it away!
This is the moment Good Samaritans confronted a knife-wielding suspect who police say had just gone on a stabbing spree at a Walmart in Michigan Saturday.
I've got a duty to protect.
Derek Perry, a former Marine, seen here drawing his gun, commanding the suspect, 42-year-old Bradford Gilly, to drop the knife he allegedly used to stab 11 people just moments earlier.
I didn't think of anything other than trying to get him away from people and get him isolated and get him to put the knife down and just to kind of focus on me and instead of everyone that was yelling and screaming in the background.
Perry says his intent was not to hurt the suspect.
God took over and said, we're going to get you through this. You need to go.
The victims range in age from 29 to 84. At least one remains in serious condition. Gilly, now charged with assault and terrorism, has a long criminal record and a history of mental illness and involuntary hospitalizations. Deputies were actively searching for him the day before the attack after a court order was issued to take him into custody.
Authorities have not said why that court order was issued. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
New video shows swarms of people in Gaza rushing to surround aid trucks as President Donald Trump for the first time has acknowledged starvation in Gaza is real. Trump says much of the responsibility lies with Israel. Trump's comments are a clear rejection of statements from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who claims no one is starving in Gaza. The president is now promising increased U.S. financial aid as well as establishing food centers in Gaza. This as hospitals report another 14 deaths in the past day due to famine and malnutrition. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We want to know, do you agree with the U.S. increasing aid to Gaza? 68% of you say yes, 32% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time now, it's just about 6:38 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. Big changes are coming to the Crossroads recovery community.
A deadly mass shooting in Midtown Manhattan. I'm Nicole D'Antonio with the latest on the investigation and what witnesses say happened during those horrifying moments.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, you heard me say earlier it's going to be a bit of a hot one all across Texas. So coming up next, I'll tell you just how hot I think it'll be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Taco Tuesday. Looking again at your Victoria camera because over the last 7-8 minutes since y'all last saw me, the visibility has gotten even worse. You can see visibility is now down to probably about 500 feet or so. So please, y'all be careful if you're hitting the roads this morning because we do have special weather statements and fog advisories being in effect up until 10 a.m. because timing out the fog for the rest of today, it'll start burning off between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pretty much completely burned off by 10 a.m. That's why the fog advisory is up until then. But I want to let y'all know, I'm going to press play a little bit further. What's this? More fog for tonight. And I want to press play again. More fog possible for Thursday morning, Wednesday night into Thursday morning as well. So for the next following few mornings, make sure to stay safe hitting the roads because the high pressure nearby bringing us some more fog. But that high pressure will burn off our fog down to some mostly sunny skies. At least for today and tomorrow. We're going to be looking mostly sunny, especially sunny today, especially for the afternoon. Look at all that sunshine expected. That's going to heat us up a little bit down to about, I'm thinking a high of about 99 this afternoon here in Victoria, which looking at your almanac, that's about 3 degrees above where we're supposed to be and a record of about 105. So 6 degrees below that. Thank goodness we're not that hot. And other good news, well, the humidity is going to be lower today. Why? Because in the morning time, we're going to start out with a light westerly wind shifting to a south-southeasterly wind. Look at that humidity, only 20 to 30%. So humidity is only up to about 107, but it will get hotter before rain gets here this weekend. And we'll look at that coming up next.
Happy Tuesday morning here, Crossroads. And last week we started off our football previews getting into Football Friday night starting on August 29th, and we highlighted the Shiner Comanches there last week. Well, for today, we're going to talk about the Yorktown Wildcats and stay in that 2A Division II area, which last season for the Wildcats, they finished second place behind Shiner. And this team, they're going to have their returning quarterback coming back, and Brody Medding, and he's going to have a lot of weapons returning as well. Matthew Olgeen and Braden Ryan Knotzman, and the brothers there, the head coach there as well for the Yorktown Wildcats. And they expect to be big threats this season, but the question for the Wildcats going into 2025 is their offensive defensive line. They're very inexperienced, and they're hoping maybe during two-a-days, during camp-wise, more practices, they're going to get that chemistry going together. And again, they're projected to finish third place in District 15 2A Division II behind Shiner and Falls City, coordinator Dave Campbell's Texas High School football. And again, later on tonight, we're going to round out that 2A Division II and talk about the Louise Hornets, who again are another team that are trying to see if they can be in the up front going into this season. This is Max Williams, 25, News Now Sports.
We want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV or Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. Now to the latest on that mass shooting in Midtown Manhattan. At least 4 people are dead, including an off-duty police officer. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio shares the latest on the investigation.
This morning, an active investigation into a mass shooting in an office tower in the heart of New York City. Authorities say the shooter is 27-year-old Shane Devon Tamara. At the end of the workday Monday night, police say he walked towards 345 Park Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, wearing body armor and carrying a rifle.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire.
Authorities say the suspect then went into the elevators where a woman was getting out.
The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator, and he allows her to walk past him unharmed.
He then rode to the 33rd floor where he allegedly walked the floor, firing rounds, striking and killing a woman before police say he turned the gun on himself. The building where the shooting occurred is headquarters to major companies, including the financial firm Blackstone and the NFL. But investigators say the motive of the shooting is not known at this time. Inside, workers were told to shelter in place, some employees even using office furniture to barricade the door.
We heard multiple shots go off in quick succession from the first floor, and a lot of us just rushed into the room. Some went out in the back door, out onto the street. Other people, including me, we ran into the conference room and then eventually barricaded the tables across the doors and just stayed still.
Outside, witnesses described the chaos on the streets.
I heard, you hear like, I thought it was like drums or something, and then I was like, what's happening? We just kept walking, and then you see people running at you. And so then we're like, what's happening? It's like, we heard gunshots, so we just ran.
In total, 5 people were shot, including an off-duty NYPD officer who was working security for the building. He leaves behind 2 young kids and a wife who's pregnant with their 3rd child. Overnight, the NFL commissioner sharing a message to employees saying one of their employees was seriously injured in the attack and adding there will be an increased security presence in the days and weeks ahead. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Big changes are coming to the Crossroads recovery community. Perpetual Help Home is joining forces with Billy T. Catan Recovery and Outreach starting September 1st. The merger brings new resources and a unified team to support people in transition. Services will range from treatment to housing, all designed to help people rebuild their lives.
Bringing both organizations together that serve a similar mission in helping people find hope, I think will bring our resources together, our leadership, one board that comes together and oversees the 2 great organizations in the community.
In addition to the merger, the Billy T. Catan Hope Ranch, a full functioning state-of-the-art facility to help those struggling with substance abuse, will see the foundation installed on Friday and the building construction soon to follow. Hope Ranch is expected to open in May of 2026, and that will be located near the Highway 185 and 59 intersection. The time is now, let's get a look at our clock up here. It is 6:46 on our Tuesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. The price of your groceries could soon change right before your eyes. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Quentin. Want to wish a happy 15th birthday to my son, Quentin. Can't wait to celebrate your birthday. Love mom, grandma, grandpa, and your uncles and aunts and cousins.
Oh, happy birthday, Quentin. And also happy birthday to Shirley. Happy birthday, beautiful. Have a wonderful day. Lots of love from Steve, Dwayne, Melissa, Vern, and your 2 grandkids.
And happy birthday to the one and only brother Gary Moses. Happy birthday from your niece Kristen and all your friends and former students. It's time to wear those Gary Moses socks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Big ol' happy birthday to Gary Moses. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the home tab, and then you'll see submit your birthday photo.
All right, the time is 6:47 on our Tuesday morning. Happy birthday to Jordan and happy birthday to Shannon.
Birthday,
and happy
y'all.
birthday to you if you're celebrating one today.
That's right. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw that 7-day forecast a few moments ago, and you saw lots more heat coming our way, but more importantly, you saw the rain chances coming our way this weekend. So what's that all about? Well, originally, we were thinking that might be something tropical again, something like kind of near repeat of what we had the last 2 weeks in a row, where we might see it a third time. What's going to happen is we have a cool front. Yes, you probably heard a lot about this on social media. It's going to be the first cool front for the month of August. It's going to be for the first week of August. That's going to traverse all the way across the southern United States. But I know y'all got super excited there for a second, but you just saw it's going to dissipate right before it even gets here. So we're going to stay in the upper 90s, some maybe in the mid 90s, maybe cooling off a little bit, but that's still a dissipated front does bring us good news. It brings us rain chances with lift still in the atmosphere. So that should help us out a little bit. Good news is that we've removed our tropical interest from that little setup, and we've actually moved it a little bit further ahead. It's going to be between the 5th to the 10th of August. We have a new area, this little green bubble right here just over Cuba, of possible tropical development because we're watching 2 tropical waves way out in the deep Atlantic right now. Here's tropical wave number 1. Second one is still over the Saharan Desert. Can't see it yet, but we're watching this one that will likely traverse across the Atlantic and possibly be of concern for the next week of August. But if you thought that was busy, look what's happening in the Pacific. We have 3 possible systems over the next 7 days and 2 active systems, one of them a major hurricane. We'll look at all that more later on Sunrise.
Now to your money and more supermarkets using digital ads, meaning the price you pay can change potentially several times per day. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has the details.
The price of your groceries may soon change right in front of your eyes. A glimpse of what shoppers could soon see is already on display in Europe, where the Wall Street Journal found prices at some grocery stores can change up to 100 times per day. The technology behind it? Digital shelf labels, small electronic screens that can instantly display new prices at the push of a button, and they're being used more and more across the U.S. Walmart has installed digital tags in more than 400 locations, with plans to reach 2,300 stores by next year. Kroger and Whole Foods are expanding pilot programs as well. It's fueling fears of surge pricing.
Like charging more for ice cream when it's a hot day or for an umbrella when it's a rainy day.
Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey have sent a letter to Kroger warning the labels could be used to squeeze consumers to increase profits. But the company insists the labels won't be used for surge pricing. Companies say the tags help cut back on time-consuming labor. Walmart says it used to take 2 full days to update prices across the store. With digital tags, just minutes.
Sometimes a lot of these folks are only working 20, 25 hours a week. This is a heavy, labor-intensive job.
In a recent study, researchers found virtually no surge pricing after electronic labels were installed, finding the labels actually increase the likelihood of consumers getting discounts. But skepticism remains. Maine and Rhode Island have introduced bills to limit the use of digital labels. And in Arizona, a state lawmaker introduced a bill to ban digital tags entirely.
One expert says he expects the pricing changes will be infrequent or outside of store hours to avoid confusing or upsetting shoppers. Rhiannon Nally, ABC News, New York.
Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. New documents are being released to shed light on changes that could reshape what it means to be born in the United States. More details are emerging about the Trump administration's plan to end birthright citizenship. New documents offer a glimpse into changes that could alter the benefits of being born in the U.S. Under these guidelines, parents of newborns, including U.S. citizens, may face extra steps to verify their immigration status to get a passport or social security number for their children. A federal judge has refused to open the Federal Reserve interest rate meetings to the public. Last week, Azoria Capital filed a lawsuit challenging the 50-year tradition of closed-door meetings. The suit claims that this violates the Sunshine Act, which requires government meetings to be open. The judge denied the claim, ruling the Federal Open Market Committee is not a government agency. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced plans to overhaul the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. Kennedy, a longtime critic, called the program corrupt and inefficient in a Monday social media post. He said he will work with the Justice Department to make changes, arguing the program has failed to quickly and fairly handle claims. 20 Democratic states are suing the Trump administration over its efforts to obtain data from SNAP. The lawsuit says the Department of Agriculture is improperly attempting to gather sensitive personal information from low-income families who use food stamps. The requested information includes social security numbers and home addresses. Some say the demand violates state and federal privacy laws. A group representing High Plains region farmers has launched a campaign to make buyers aware of synthetic fibers' impact on the environment and health. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on crossroadstoday.com. And now let's get a look at our foggy forecast with Parker. It was looking purple for a second out there. Parker, what color is it now?
Now it's just looking a plain old gray. Pretty boring right now, actually. Looking live in Victoria, you can actually see since the last time I talked about the fog, it looks like most of it is kind of withered away, but I promise you there is still some fog out there. We'll look at that map here in a second because it's 72 to start the day in Victoria. You can see the temperature has dropped a little bit further away from the dew point, now 71. Humidity is now a little bit lower at 97%. That's why we're seeing a little bit less fog in Victoria County, at least on that camera. But like I was just saying, we have fog all around part of the crossroads this morning. So what I'm trying to say is please, please be careful if you're hitting the roads. Use those low beam headlights and your windshield wipers. They're going to be your best friend. Y'all know the drill. We're all down here in South Texas on the coast. But for today, with us being on the coast, it's going to be another hot one, especially with high pressure overhead. We're looking for a high of 97 in Port Lavaca. Victoria, a bit warmer today. I'm thinking 99. And Cuero, y'all will actually be a little bit cooler, I'm thinking today, 98. But if y'all don't hit 100 today, y'all, I think, will hit 100 tomorrow. And if that's not hot enough, well, we're going to stay in the upper 90s all week long until the rain finally gets here this weekend.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you,
Yes,
Parker.
definitely.
And thank y'all for being with us. Join Shauna, Don, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Make it a great Tuesday.